Hello, I'm Dr. Albanese with Albanese Chiropractic, and our mission is to help as many families as possible create healthy lifestyles and reach optimal health through chiropractic. Today we're going to talk about protein. Specifically, we're going to have a comparison of different sources of protein. We'll look at different food types that can provide very complete, very healthy protein for our diets. Because most people will think about red meat, chicken, fish, eggs when we consider where do you get your protein from? But I like to look at, well, where do those animals get their protein from? How do they get so large and so strong? So let's go right to the source and eat that type of protein. So let's take a look. We're going to view a chart that will give us different protein sources and compare not only the protein but the fat and the cholesterol content of each one of these sources. And then you can make a decision. What protein source is healthiest for you? What protein source do you want your protein to come from? Now, another question that people typically ask is, well, how much protein do I need? For the answer to that question, I will suggest that you watch our video on the recommendations for daily protein intake. So let's take a look at this chart. Now, when we look at this protein comparison chart, you'll notice the protein sources are listed from the greatest amount of protein to the least amount of protein. And starting at the top, right off the bat, probably throws a lot of people for a loop because we see things like wheat gluten or seitan, soybeans, lentils, kidney beans, black beans, some of the highest protein sources. Now, what's interesting is if we look at the protein in grams of these foods, but go to the column next to that, cholesterol, 0. Whereas if we look just below tuna, ground beef, we see a lesser amount of protein, but a very high amount of cholesterol, especially in the ground beef patties. And then obviously the fat, most of that is saturated fat. When we look at salmon, 23 grams of protein, but 62 milligrams of cholesterol. Compare that to soybeans, 68 grams of protein and 0 cholesterol. As we scan down this list here, say for example the porterhouse steak, 4 ounces, 23 grams of protein, but 64 milligrams of cholesterol. That is huge. That is a high amount of cholesterol. Most people think that chicken would be a very healthy form of protein and less fat and healthier than red meats. But let's take a look here. Now this is a half breast uncooked chicken, 18 grams of protein, but 56 milligrams of cholesterol. Right below that, eggs, a whole raw egg. Now, if we have 2 eggs, that's 13 grams of protein, but 423 milligrams of cholesterol. By taking a look at this chart and just viewing from top to bottom the greatest sources of proteins, we start to notice that I'll call it plant-based or vegan options are actually providing more protein and very minimal amounts of fat or cholesterol compared to the tuna, ground beef, chicken, all of the deli meats and the eggs, all of those other sources that we typically look at when we compare or think about protein are providing protein, but there's a downside to that. That is the cholesterol and the fat content. This is something that's very important to consider when we think about our overall health, because you can get a lot of protein from a variety of sources and not compromise your health like you would if you were going to eat chicken or meat or eggs, because the downside again is the cholesterol and the fat, the saturated fat. And these are unhealthy parts of those food types. So I hope this gives you a little insight into the variety of foods that we can look at and reach out for when it comes to gaining protein. Again, we want to look at your overall health, not just the macronutrients, the proteins, the fats, the carbs, because that might not tell the whole picture. So we hope that you found this video helpful. It's a short video, but a lot of content, a lot of great information that I'd like you to consider and watch again. And we hope that you share this with other people, because you never know how what you do or say can affect the lives of those around you. So we ask that you like and subscribe to these videos. They help us to track how many people are watching it and how we can cater our content to best suit you. I'm Dr. Albanese. Until we meet next time, have a great day and be well.